Most Americans are braced for violence at President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration Wednesday, a new USA Today/Suffolk Poll finds, amid an overwhelming consensus that the nation's democracy has been weakened since the last president was sworn in 4 years ago. The survey finds an anxious and embattled electorate, the divisions from the November election still raw. 2/3 now say the country is headed in the wrong direction, a double-digit jump since last month. "It should be a happy time, but I am very nervous and frightened," said Sandy Bethune, 71, a Democratic retiree from Oakland, California, who voted for Biden. "We are supposed to be the pinnacle of democracy that the rest of the world aspires to be," she said in a follow-up interview after being called in the poll. "But with the January 6th assault on the Capitol," she said, "we cracked it." Trump's standing has eroded since his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol 2 weeks ago. The percentage who say they would definitely vote for him if he ran for president again in 2024 has dropped 7 percentage points since December, to 23%, and his job approval rating has sagged 4 points, to 41%. Those shifts have taken place in less than 4 weeks, since a USA Today/Suffolk poll in mid-December. The new survey of 1,000 registered voters by landline and cell phone was taken Monday through Friday. Each has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.1 points. Now a narrow majority, 52%, 45%, say Trump should be removed from office. The recent storming of the Capitol and impeachment of President Donald Trump a second time have stained Trump's legacy, said David Paleologos, director of the Suffolk University Political Research Center. In less than a month, Trump's numbers have tumbled across the board. USA Today December poll, as Trump leaves office, 50% of Americans say he'll be seen as failed president, but the outgoing president retains a significant measure of their political base that has stuck with him through 2 elections and 4 tumultuous years. Among Republicans, 55% say they would definitely vote for him if he ran in 2024, a big drop from the 71% who said that in December, but still a significant number. Another 25% say they might vote for him. Only 14% say they definitely wouldn't. His job approval rating in the GOP now stands at 90%, not a meaningful change from the 92% approval he scored among Republicans in December. That level of loyalty could complicate the hopes of establishment Republicans to move beyond Trump once he leaves the White House this week. "He's probably hard to get along with," acknowledged Jimbo Self, 39, an auto mechanic from Callahan, Florida. A Republican, he voted for Trump in November. But he added approvingly, "You don't have to like the man to know what he did for the country." Many Americans were shocked, and some shaken, by video of rioters rampaging through the halls of the Capitol and on the House and Senate floors. Members of Congress barricaded themselves in offices, and Vice President Mike Pence, a target of some in the mob, only narrowly missed being caught in their midst. By 56%, 31%, those surveyed predict there will be more violence at the inauguration. By 70%, 17%, they say America's democracy is weaker, not stronger, than it was 4 years ago. Asked if they are proud to be an American, 62% say they are extremely or very proud. Another 20% are moderately proud. And 16% are only a little proud or not at all proud. "I consider their actions by the people that did that treasonous to this country. That's how serious it is," said Shelley Bellaccar, 50, a nurse practitioner from Nashua, New Hampshire. A political independent, she voted for Biden. Those who participated are criminals, 7 in 10 of those surveyed said. While almost no one said the protesters acted appropriately, about 1 in 4 hedged their criticism. 24% say they went too far, but they had a point. Capitol riot, see who has been arrested. "Honestly, I don't think it's serious at all," said Brooke Lynn Parker, 28, a cosmetologist from Watertown, New York. A political independent, she voted for Trump. She called the Capitol assault a distraction, not a coup, and suggested without evidence that it was kind of staged and planned in a way that meant for the supporters to look bad. 5 people, including a police officer who was caught up in the violence, were killed in the insurrection, and others were injured, including police. Law enforcement officials have found no evidence to support the distraction assertion, which has been circulated by some conspiracy theorists. Federal authorities have made more than 50 arrests and the number of investigations is close to topping 300. Parker doesn't hold the president and his defiant speech to a rally before the assault responsible for what happened next. He didn't say, "Go bust into the Capitol," so I don't think that was his fault at all, she said. In the poll, more than a third of those surveyed, 36%, say Trump bears little or none of the blame for the assault, but a majority of Americans do hold him responsible. About half, 48%, say the president bears a lot of blame for the attack, and another 14% say he bears some blame. Nicholas Williams, 24, a Democrat from Nashville who voted for Biden, said he wasn't surprised when it happened. "It's something that escalated slowly over 4 years because of Trump's repeated lies," the maintenance technician said. Now a small majority supports removing Trump from office. Among those, 6 in 10 endorse impeachment. In a bipartisan vote, the House last week approved an article of impeachment charging Trump with incitement to insurrection. The Senate trial isn't expected to begin until sometime after Biden's inauguration. Obviously, he's going to be out of office, but it was good to kind of just send a message, and especially for democracy, said Jonathan Mutiba, 28, an engineer from Somerville, Massachusetts. A Democrat, he voted for Biden. It's basically saying that no one is above the law and carries consequences for your actions. There is some skepticism about the value of impeachment once Trump has left office anyway. While 42% call congressional action necessary to preserve democracy, another 25% say it is a distraction from other important legislative priorities, and 26% call it a waste of time. Trump's refusal to concede the election and the violence that followed have robbed Biden of some of the good feeling that new presidents typically enjoy. Even now, 1 in 3 voters, 32%, say Biden was not legitimately elected president. "There's overwhelming evidence of fraud," insists Renee Vlam, 67, a software consultant from Stillwater, Minnesota. "How can you trust anything after that?" The accusation of significant voter fraud, pressed by Trump, has been repeatedly dismissed by the courts, in some instances by Trump-appointed judges, rejected by Republican and Democratic state election officials and found to be without merit by independent fact-checkers. Georgia election official, Trump legal team intentionally misled voters on election fraud. In the poll, 64% said Biden was legitimately elected, just 2 points higher than in December. Approval of the job Biden has done since the election dipped just a bit since December, down 5 points to 46%, although his disapproval also dropped 2 points, to 29%. 1 in 4, 24%, said they were undecided. Many Americans seem to be taking a wait-and-see attitude toward the new president. Asked how they would feel about his presidency, regardless of how they voted, precisely half chose a positive emotion. 26% said excited and 24% good. But the biggest share, 36% said they would feel worried, and 6% said angry. "I don't see people ever rebuking Trump's ideology," says Williams, the Biden voter from Nashville. He's hopeful but not convinced that Biden's call for bipartisanship will prevail. "Unless that actually works," he said, "I don't ever see things becoming closer to normality." Derek Tonkin, 40, a Trump voter from Waco, Texas, also isn't sure what's ahead. "Like, I hope that doesn't happen again," the IT worker said of the Capitol violence. "But the way things are right now, everybody's just so angry. And it's hard to tell what's going to happen next."